Hi, I'm Dimitri Metzeltin, and in this video I'm going to talk about the DLZ Creator XS. That's the smaller version of the DLZ Creator, and I recommend to all of you to watch the detailed video we did on this channel on the bigger DLZ Creator. So, the DLZ Creator series are digital mixers for podcasters, for broadcasting, and the smaller version is also interesting for streaming on your own. So if you do an online stream without guests, you can also use the DLZ Creator XS right there. So why did we put out a smaller version of the DLZ Creator? Well, because people asked for it. So we had a lot of good feedback on our DLZ Creator, but we had people saying, oh, it's too big for my desktop and I don't need 4 microphone inputs, 2 would be enough because usually I just have one guest or I do everything online. So we came out with a smaller version. We have 2 microphone inputs instead of 4. We got rid of the fader, so we have volume knobs right here, and our high-end screen is a bit smaller, but you still can really read everything really well there. So we have a much smaller version, and it's portable as well. It's very portable. Apart from that, everything regarding the DSP power is exactly the same. So I won't go into all the details, as I talked already about that in the other DLZ Creator video. But just to give you a quick overview, we still have the 3-band parametric EQ that you see right here with a high-pass filter. I can adjust my gate here on all the channels, and I can use that using my fingers on the display, on the touch-sensitive display, but I can also use the smart knobs for that. So if I don't want to use the display for this, I just use the smart knobs. They're called smart knobs because they're always changing according to the menu that I recall here. So I have different things for the compressor as then for the EQ, for example, that I recall here. We also still have the effects built inside here. So we have the reverb and the delay, but we will talk about effects later on as well. We have the media page where I can access my SD card or my USB stick, so I can make recordings there or playback files or record my samples. And talking about recording, we still can record in multitrack or in stereo, and that's up to 14 tracks in total. So it's the same number of tracks that I can record with a bigger DLZ Creator, because we here have an additional digital return on channel 3 and 4 on the DLZ Creator XS. We have some additional features like bypass processing, record post-fade instead of pre-fade, so you can do that as well. And you can record into a computer, into a Mac or a PC, again a stereo file or as multi-track files with up to 14 tracks at the same time. But I not only can use a USB for that, since firmware version 1.1 we also support NDI. NDI is a network protocol that comes from the video industry but carries audio signals as well. And this means that we can use this here in a network, for example in a radio station, if you think about a bit more extensive network here. So I connect this to a router and multiple computers or multiple rooms have access to this mixer. But also in a gaming setup at home for streaming, I could use the USB port for one computer and the network for another, or use multiple computers on the same network. So NDI really interesting and quite easy to set up as well. So we have full support there. Also, since version 1.1 we support multiple languages. So if you're not an English native speaker like me, you can change this to German, to Portuguese, to Chinese, or maybe you want to train your Korean. So you can do that as well here and change the language of the whole mixer. So the nice thing is that we not only have a new hardware, but we also can update the software. So I just talked about firmware 1.1, and since a couple of weeks we also have firmware 1.2 out, and that brings us again new features for both the DLZ mixers. So this goes for the big and for the small one, everything we see here, and a lot of that can be found on the pads page. So our pads up until now have been there for samples, so I could start samples, record samples. The samples go to the SD card or the USB stick. But now we have new functions built inside here. So let's take a look there. One new function is that we have control options for the pads. And that's 6 in total that I can choose from. And I can also adjust the pad behavior. So I have the toggle mode. Toggle mode means I press once, then the control that I've chosen is on. And when I press the second time, it goes off. If I go to hold, it means I have to hold the pad as long as I want this special control mode to have effect. Then I just hold it. When I release it, then it's gone. So, and what kind of things can we control now? We have, first of all, a sensor. This could be a sensor beep. So if somebody's swearing all the time, one of your guests, you can press the sensor beep as often as you like. You also could use a sample for that. So that could be also quite funny in your live stream to use a sample for that. We can have control of mute groups. So I can say, okay, I want to mute quickly everything but my microphone, so that I have my microphone on channel 1 and everything is muted to avoid any noise or anything that's happening right there. Then we come to two very interesting options. One is called locals only. Locals only means that I'm muting the signals going out to the computer or to Bluetooth. So it mutes the signals to the USB, NDI or the Bluetooth output, so that just the people inside the room can talk to each other. Quite important before you go on air to just discuss something you need to discuss before you go back on air. Quite similar is the intercom mode, maybe also more interesting in the bigger version than in the smaller version, but it works on both. So let's say you have 2 or 3 guests, and you notice that one of the guests, his voice is getting lower and lower, and you notice, okay, he moved away from the microphone, and that's why we're not hearing him so well. But then I can talk directly to him in intercom mode, so I can activate my microphone and his headphones and just talk to him and say, hey, come a bit closer to the microphone because we hardly can hear you, and we can rectify it that way, and that's not going on air. So that's the intercom mode. Really interesting what you can do there. Then we have fade, so we have fade in and fade out that I can start with the pad, so I can fade out the music, for example, automatically and exclude my microphone channel there. Quite similar with the ducking mode. Ducking means as soon as I talk into microphone 1, all the other signals will be lower. So that's the control mode. But we didn't do only that. We also have new effects built inside and a new way to recall the effects. Because especially in a broadcast, in a podcast environment, you won't maybe necessarily want to have a send effect, so where you have to put the send signal and adjust the return signal. You want a really easy and fast way to activate an effect and deactivate it again. So again, here we have to hold and toggle pad behaviors. So I press one of the pads and the effect takes effect right there. So I can put in a reverb, a delay, but then also a telephone effect on my voice, or then also detune my voice. So have a pitch shift there, or other kind of funny effects. And as I said, I can then press the button right here, press the pad, and the effect is on. And when I release it, the effect is off again. So it's a really fast way to put an effect on my voice. And I can here assign the channels where I want the effect to take place. We still have we still have all the other functions that you've seen on the DLZ Creator. Maybe one more that really stands out is the auto mix function. That's a very popular function amongst our users. This means that I can give one microphone a priority. So for example, I can give channel 1 the priority. So as soon as I talk into channel 1, all the other microphones will be lower in signal. So that's the auto mix function that we have built inside the DLZ Creator XS as well. So that's about it. DLZ Creator XS, that's a smaller version of the DLZ Creator, but with the same software. And it's interesting for podcasting in the broadcast world, but also for online streams. Thanks for watching. See you next time.